السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مغفر الله. Alhamdulillah. Shukr Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala min hada yawm. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for another day. And I'm saying so. Give my greetings to all of the believers, and as well give my greetings to humanity as a whole. What's up? How you doing? Inshallah. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for another time. I kind of want to talk about today about a verse that tells us that successful people who purify themselves, and purification of this is when we say self-nafsu, in Arabic, nafsu means soul, self, also the psyche. And so we purify ourselves. In one particular verse, in chapter Ida. So to purify oneself is very, very important, inshallah, as far as our external issues, as far as cleanliness and tahara, and our internal issues, to purify, and is our internal issues as far as jealousy and envy and excessive anger. There was a book by Brother Uthman Danfodia, who wrote Al-Muhaimin, and he said there's certain emotions we have that these are innate emotions, but what makes them either halal or haram is based upon the fact of it being excessive anger, excessive hasad, jealousy, or ghibah, envy, and things of this nature, being excessive, going over the top, and all. And this is quite in tune with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about being excessive. So purification from ourselves is that we purify ourselves from these things, that we purify our minds from envy. If we don't have that, then we're not going to backbite. We're not going to talk about people. If we don't have negative thoughts about people, they're especially unwarranted thoughts. There was nothing done or said to warrant that, simply because a person may not like how an individual said something, or how an individual talks, or how an individual walks, or how they dress, or the possessions that they have, or their character, as long as their character is not, negative. So we have to purify ourselves from that, and we have to purify ourselves, especially during this particular month of Ramadan, from greed. This is an opportunity for us to focus on that. So we purify ourselves from greed, being just overeating, overindulging in things. And if we can, again, if we the traditional processes that we can do that, we can stop the other things, the profanity, the other areas that we have issues, addictions, and so forth and so on. And so I think we have to understand it. And it says, "Qad aflaha man zakkaha wa dhakara isma rabbih fasawwaha." And then remember the name of your Lord. Then remember that once we purify, it's like a glass of water. You pour something out of the water, but in turn you have to replace it with something. But you can't replace it, water and oil together, because it's not a good combination. So you can't, do that. So now in chapter Shams, it's a man tazaka. It uses the fifth verb form, which is a transitional form verb as well. And that, again, successful, a person who is successful is prosperous, who purifies. But it goes on to say, and they fail who corrupts it. Corrupt what? Corrupt the psyche, corrupt the soul, corrupt the mind by negative thoughts, evil emotions and intentions, knee-jerk responses on that type of mindset, or that type of emotion that is automatically evil, or that's malignant, or that it is negative. One of the great things over the years that I have learned from me, and I've been in some pretty bad situations, is that when I kept the wudu, when I was mutawadi, when I kept my wudu, that it minimized. It definitely didn't stop, because we're human, but it definitely minimized. I would have to say 80% of my negative responses or negative reactions or even negative thoughts. Because the tahara is like a shield. The wudu is like a shield from a lot of malignant external forces that may affect us in negative ways. So we have to be able to do that, and it's very prominent when we in the shahadatain. You say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I bear with it. There is no God but Allah. Now this what is this ilaha? Now traditionally, historically, tariq, these things are about the 360 gods, 385, or how many it was, an indefinite number of demigods that the particular ethnic race had at that time. Now, in istilal and inference, this God can be my ego. My ilaha, it can be my ego. It can be my culture. It can be my sense of narcissism, my desire can become my God, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say whoever takes his God, his desires to be his Lord. Okay, so it can be my desire. My desire is to do this, and the Creator's is this. Dr. Martin Luther King made a statement where he said that right and wrong is relative when you take God out of the equation. And that is, so true. Because now, right and wrong, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He inspires good and evil, that's inspired. But, when you take the Creator out of the equation, then right and wrong becomes what you think is right and wrong, based upon what you were raised with, based upon your family taught you, based upon your nationality, what they said was right or wrong, based upon your community, the side of the community. All of these different things, become relative based upon that. But there's a universal premise that the Creator has stated is beneficial for all of us. So with that being said, we get rid of this, and then we place these virtues. Amantu billahi kama bi asma'ihi wa sifatihi wa qabiltu jami'ah. I believe in Allah, in all of His names, and I accept qabiltu jami'ah. I accept all of His orders. So once we are able to divest ourselves from these things, the ego, the lust, the excessive anger, the excessive jealousy, the excessive pride, then we can replace these things with the hub, the love of God, and the love of His creation, and the love of ourselves, because He made us the way we are. And we can accept that, accept who we are, and love ourselves, and then that reflects, that how I see the world and how I see other people. It's very important. So with that being said, I wish all of you a beautiful day. Try our best to divest ourselves, to take away from our own hearts and our own minds negative knee-jerk reactions to situations that occur daily at our jobs, at our homes, within ourselves, because a lot of this is learned behavior. And I want to talk about learned hatred the next time, whether that is innate or whether that is internal or external, whether it's imported or whether it's homegrown. Learned hatred. And so we have to be able to do this, and if the Creator wills, be good at what we do, and to be the best that we can be, we have to put on the wings of goodness and tear off the wings of negativity that so much permeates society now. I see people who are angry, don't know what's going on in their lives, but it's funny how you can see how they feel, just looking at their faces. And so it is very important that we try our best to purify ourselves, replace that negativity with positivity, replace that love. Think about it and make the transition. Tazeka, purify ourselves from, because we can have a tendency to substitute hatred from one group to another. We can have a propensity to substitute negative feelings from one thing to another. Misdirected, misplaced anger and misdirected aggression, where we are angry at one thing, but we become aggressive to another thing, whether it's conscious or unconscious. So we should definitely. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. And then pray for salah, and then burn away this by remembrance of the Most High. The person fail who corrupts their mind. The person who corrupts their brain, who corrupts it with negativity, daily, who corrupts it with their soul, with negative and evil emotions and intentions, and they fail. Fact. No joke. That being said, I wish all of you, inshallah, a beautiful day. Alhamdulillah. I'm grateful for another day. It's, every day is a struggle, but we must be grateful for it. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.